is good? It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, guys, we're gonna be doing a tier list of the best Amethyst in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM. I tried to include every AMI, and I got close to including every AMI, but once I got like over the 80 mark, it was too large of a tier list. So I think we're gonna settle at like 77 AMIs. Basically, every AMI in the entire game is gonna be ranked on this tier list. So we're going to be getting into it. Just note, a lot of these AMIs came out in Season 1 and aren't great anymore, but we still do have a lot of overall solid AMIs in the game. And we're going to start off with Dale Ellis, and as we dive into it again, make sure you guys do smash that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. I really do appreciate all of the support that you guys have given me. Dale Ellis, I think, is mid. I mean, in the past, Dale Ellis has had a super good release. This year, I don't want to sit here and say it's horrible, but it's just not as cheesy as it has been in past years. 6'7", still going to play decent enough defensively. I mean, he might get moved up to B tier. I'm not the biggest Dale Ellis stan. Some people really like this card because obviously he can knock down shots. But for me, what else does he do outside of shoot the ball? I don't necessarily know. Agent Zero, Gilbert Arenas up next, and I think he's B tier. I don't hate Gilbert Arenas, but for me, it all starts and ends with that release. If he had a better release, probably have him higher. I don't love his release. Dunks the ball well, plays decent defense. I'm going B tier or Agent Zero. It's crazy. Jared Vanderbilt, I know he's an Evo. I'm still putting him at A tier. I am in love with Jared Vanderbilt, and if you don't know yet, you will eventually know, because I will hype this card up for as long as humanly possible. That's how high I am on Vando. I think the card is just outstanding. I don't know what else there is to say. Plays defense, great offense, decent enough offensively for a Jared Vanderbilt card. Can knock down shots, can handle the ball a little bit. A tier is 100% where he belongs. Aaron Gordon, I'm going to throw him at C tier. I'm not the highest Aaron Gordon fan. Look, I know he's going to knock down shots. I just don't love his release. Plays some defense. I'll go C tier. Big Al up next. At this stage, I mean, D tier. I don't think he's quite F tier because he can at least knock down shots. Plays decent defense. But, I mean, if you're running Al Horford at this point of my team, I just don't know if that's a great thing. And I'm not trying to sit here and slander you specifically if you're running Al Horford, but I'm just saying I would probably eventually try to replace Al Horford if I was running him. Like, it's just as simple and as nice as I can say it for Big Al in my team. Next up, guys, Andre Kirilenko. I love AK-47. I'm going to put him at A tier, but he might go to S tier, because when I look at this, he's going to S tier. I don't know who else is going to be better at the Amethyst tier than Andre Kirilenko. 100% deserving of S tier. Really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I had to reconsider because I'm like, okay, there's probably going to be some really good Amethyst. And then I was like, you know what? AK is really good. Definitely S tier. Bam Adebayo, B tier. I still like Bam. I do think a guy like Jared Vanderbilt gives you more than Bam Adebayo when you compare them side by side, but still like Bam. And if you're running Bam, I don't have an issue with it because the card is still really good in my team. Jamal Murray was one of the cards I cut out because he's a bona fide scrub. He'd probably be F tier. He's horrible. Ben Wallace up next. I'm going to go C tier with Big Ben. I know a lot of people are probably like, Ty, Big Ben can't even shoot. Like, I get it. But as far as an interior center, he's going to play defense. He is going to, he has good speed, good acceleration, good lateral quickness. I don't mind Big Ben. Offensively, just obviously not ideal. Next up, Chris Webber. I'm going to go C tier. I don't love Chris Webber as much as Bam Adebayo, but he's fine. You can use Chris Webber still to this day and have some success. Again, I think C tier is where Chris Webber does belong. Corey Maggette up next. Now, for Corey Maggette, I think B tier is where he belongs. The problem with Corey Maggette is he was 112,000 MT, and anybody with the brain is going to be like, okay, that's just too much for me. It's just not worth that price. Now, is that me saying Corey Maggette's bad? No, because I think Corey Maggette is fine. I think you can use Corey Maggette and have a lot of success with him. It just comes down to, is he worth the price he was going for? I do not think so, but still, really solid. Damian Lillard up next. I'm going to go C tier with Dame. I love Damian Lillard. I'm a Dame stan. Problem is, though, he just doesn't play enough defense for me to be any higher than C tier. And I like Dame. I wish I could go higher, and just don't think it's possible for me to put the card any higher than that. Devin Booker, D-Book up next. Now, I mean, offensively, I got to say, Devin Booker is still one of the best overall offensive cards in my team. Like, when you look at his offense, there's not many other cards that can do what Devin Booker can do. The problem is there's two sides to the ball. There's offense as well as defense, and the defense of Devin Booker definitely does lack. Dirk Nowitzki up next. I mean, D tier. I'm not a Dirk fan. I actually think Al Horford probably is better than Dirk. I'm not, sold or super high on either card, but I mean, when I'm comparing them, I think Al gives you a little bit more, especially defensively. Dominique Wilkins up next. I'm going to go C tier with Dominique Wilkins. I mean, look, I don't hate Dominique Wilkins. The problem is he just doesn't shoot the ball well. And that's like the most important thing right now in my team is how well do you shoot the ball. Defensively, Dominique Wilkins is fine, so I can't really hate on that. I think C tier is where he belongs. Zach LaVine up next. Is he another C tier card? Some people really love Zach LaVine. Some people really hype him up so much. I just think C tier is where I have him. And I'm going to move Devin Booker to B tier just because I prefer Devin Booker over a guy like Zach LaVine. That's my opinion. DeMar DeRozan, I got to go C tier. I mean, DeMar DeRozan, his three ball is not super high, but he does have a nice release. So it just comes down to what you prefer. I guess I'm not super high on DeRozan. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move Dirk down. I'm going to move Al Horford down because I just don't like those cards. And then I'm going to move some people at C tier to D tier. Just for the sole fact of, I think we've got a lot of people at C tier that, I just think are really mid. Even a guy like Ben Wallace. At this stage, I think we should be replacing Ben Wallace. He's an inside big at 6'9". Just don't necessarily see it with Ben Wallace anymore. And again, that's my personal opinion. If you don't agree with it, hey, it's okay. Allen Houston, I don't see it with him either. I'm going to go D tier. I know some people watching this video probably really like Allen Houston. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. That's okay. If you really like Allen Houston, okay, that's fine. I don't want to sit here and argue with you on that. But my whole thing with Allen Houston is this. His release is just, in my opinion, again, all of this is my opinion, I just don't think it's like, over the top good. Again, a lot of players last year or in years past have had super good releases. Super good releases. We can even talk about the Pistol Pete Christian Wood. But this year, they're just not quite as overpowered. Clyde Drexler, wherever Dominique Wilkins is, but I don't mind Clyde in my team. And it's really even tough because even when I compare like a Dale Ellis to Clyde, like it's tough to separate them because they are such different players. But I think this is, how I have to have this tier list, where a guy like Clyde, who I really don't mind, is at D tier just because he's overall pretty mid. Vince Carter at this stage, I go B tier. I still like Vince compared to a guy like Zach LaVine, Clyde, Allen Houston, Dominique. Still think he is, better at that specific position than the rest of those guys. But I don't love Vince either. Even a guy like Vince Carter at this stage, I'd go as far as to saying I'd try to eventually replace him just because he's not great. Dr. J, am I crazy for putting him at A tier? I don't think I am. I think when you're talking about complete shooting guards, Dr. J is one of the most complete, not only shooting guards, cards we have in my team. Because you guys are going to be like, oh, but Ty, his three ball is only a 70. And I get it. That is definitely a reason for concern. But what for Julius Erving, but what else does he give you on the court? He's 6'7", plays good defense, has a great release. You give him a three-ball shoe, he'll be just fine. Mitch Richmond up next. I'm going to put him at C tier. I still use Mitch on my No Money Spent Squad series, but that's not me saying for an Amethyst he's next level good. He's fine. He is at a C tier level of card. J.R. Smith, you stink. You're F tier. I'm sorry for anybody that locked in J.R. Smith thinking this card would be next level good, because he actually stinks. I promise you, I am not a fan of this card. I think with J.R. it all starts with his release. I feel like in the past, his release has been, I feel like somewhat quick, somewhat good. I feel like this year you can't even make the debate that he has a good release. And I think that's really what it boils down to for a J.R. Smith card, who is absolutely horrible. Trace McGrady up next, A tier. I think Trace McGrady still is one of the most underrated shooting guards in the entire game. The problem with T-Mac is, there were just other shooting guards that were better. Brandon Roy came out. He was better. It was just really tough. Even people like D-Book over T-Mac. It was tough to ever really get in a rhythm with T-Mac. I locked him in. Kind of regret it, but he is still A tier. Grant Hill, I'm going to throw Grant Hill at B tier. I don't like the slander that Grant Hill has gotten throughout his course of 2K. I feel like every single year people slander him, and I really like the card. Am I saying Grant Hill's next level good? No, but he's still really solid at that small forward position. Scottie Pippen's just better though. Again, Grant Hill's another card. How am I supposed to hype up Grant Hill when Scottie Pippen came out before him and is better than him? Scottie Pippen, still absolutely elite. Still, can make your squad. Is he, a top 2 small forward in the game at this stage? No. Is he top 5 at the small forward position? Probably. And that's crazy considering he was an Amethyst that came out, what, at this stage? I don't know. What, 3 months ago? He came out a very long time ago, so that's just crazy to this day. Anthony Davis came out for free the other day. I'm going to go B tier with AD. No, I'm not. I'm going to go A tier. I'm going to go A tier. He came out for free, and the card is so good. I'm going to go A tier. Initially, I was like, I don't think I can, but I think he's A tier. I mean, debatable, he's better than Bam. I think he's better than Bando, and I love Bando. Blake Griffin up next. I don't see it. D tier. I mean, Blake Griffin, again, in the past, has had some good cards. This year is not the year for Blake Griffin. I don't know who needs to hear it, but that's just my pure, honest truth. Blake Griffin's had his time in the past years. This year is just not a year for Blake Griffin. I don't know why. I don't know how. They made him small. They made his release not great. I just don't see it with Blake Griffin. A lot of people might want to hype him up. I'm not going to be one to do that. Kevin Love, D tier. For Kevin Love, at least he does something at an elite level, and that's shoot the ball. He's just undersized. He does have a good release. I just wish he was a little bit taller or played a little better defense. If he did either of those things a little better, I'd probably be hyping up Kevin Love. The problem is he doesn't, and we gotta be honest with ourselves. Karl-Anthony Towns up next. I feel like C tier is where he belongs. It's just for Cat, his release stinks, man. I don't know when Cat is ever going to have a good release again in my team, but that's the big problem with him. If Cat had a better release, everybody would be using him because he's 7 feet tall. He's got good speed. The card is not bad. When you look at his stats and badges, he's truly not bad. It just comes down to the fact that 2K historically has given Cat a bad release, and this year it's no different. His release is ultimately not good at all. So maybe Cat eventually will see an improved release. For now, it's not good. Larry Bird up next. At this stage, C tier. I don't hate Larry Bird. I still think he shoots the ball decent. I still think he's going to play decent defense. That's about all he gives you. Slow on the court. Definitely not next level good, but he's fine. Zion, D tier. Zion stinks. I am putting Zion at F tier. I mean, look, he's going to run to the rim well, but that is not the meta of my team. And I don't know who needs to hear that, but running to the rim is honestly, I'm going to say it, it's dead this year. It's not what it has been in the past. Zion is F tier. Draymond Green, I'm going to throw him at C tier. I still think you can have success with Draymond Green because of how good he is defensively. Talk about all-around cards. Sure, Draymond's not necessarily the best offensive player in the game, but defensively he's great and he knocks down shots. That's all I need him to do. Shawn Kemp, I'm gonna throw him at B tier. I don't mind Shawn Kemp. Release is fine. Attacks the rim well. Plays decent defense. I don't mind the card at all. Marc Gasol, I guess at C tier is fine. Problem with Marc Gasol is he's not 7'1" this year. I've said it in my past videos and I'll say it again. If he was 7'1", probably be A tier. He's only 6'11". C tier is where he belongs. Hakeem Olajuwon defensively does enough for me to put him at C tier. Think he's better than Ben Wallace when you compare the cards side by side. For that, I'll put him at C tier. I do not love Hakeem though. Need to make that clear. Jerome Kersey, you are a bona fide scrub. You are going into F tier. I'm sorry, Jerome Kersey. How am I supposed to hype you up though? Honestly, somebody tell me how I'm supposed to hype Jerome Kersey up and maybe I will. For me, F tier. I hate the card. Terry up next. I know they updated him, but he's still a small forward, power forward, and he's undersized. C tier. I'm sorry. I'm not going to hype up a Terry D that doesn't have shooting guard eligibility. I'm just not going to do it. I know he's got a better release. I know he might be B tier, but I'm not going to hype him up because unless they give him shooting guard eligibility, he's not worth the long grind of salary cap. So I'm sorry. C tier for Terry D. Donovan Mitchell is immaculate. He's incredible. He is S tier on this AMI tier list. I don't care. I'm a big fan of Donovan Mitchell. Now, are there better point guards than Donovan? Sure. SGA, James Harden. There are better point guards. But at the Amethyst tier, I don't know if there are. And maybe that's just the lack of good AMI point guards. Or maybe that's how good Donovan Mitchell truly is. Glenn Robinson up next. I'm a big Glenn fan in my team. I think he's more B tier than A tier. I think he's more on the level of a Grant Hill than Scottie Pippen. But I really do like and respect Glenn Robinson in my team. George Mikan, I'm going to go B tier with the Mikan man. Play him on my No Money Spent Squad series, or I have played him. I don't know if he's going to continue to play. And he's been fine for me. Definitely helped me get through games. And I respect him. Not to say he's the GOAT, but I do respect George Mikan enough in my team to put him at that B tier because he's going to knock down shots. He has shown for me he plays decent enough defense. I think he's B tier. Kevin McHale, you stink. You're going to go F tier. If you're using Kevin McHale, time to find a new card. Michael Finley up next. I mean, he's the definition of mid. C tier is where he belongs. Like, I'm sorry, Michael Finley. I know you have a high 3-ball, but that's all you're basically doing on the court for me. Oscar Big O up next. I mean, B. I'm going to go C tier. I think Agent Zero is better than him. And there might be some Oscar stands out there. I don't think tall point guards are the meta this year. I mean, we've even seen it with Magic Johnson. Like, he was definitely a letdown. Not to say Oscar was as much of a letdown, but I just don't think it's as important to have a tall point guard this year as it has been in the past. Next up, guys, Zeke Isaiah Thomas. I'm going to go C tier with him. I feel like he's not bad. He's got a decent release. I mean, I feel like offensively, he does enough. I don't hate the card. I just don't think he's anything above C tier. I know defensively he's solid, but C tier is really his limit. Derrick Rose, D tier. And this goes back to my whole point of 2K this year is not a rim running game. Derrick Rose is in D tier. When was the last time we saw Derrick Rose early on in my team that was not good? It's been a while. D tier for Derrick Rose. Kawhi Leonard is fantastic. I'm going to throw him at S tier. I don't know, though. I think AK is better. I'm going to throw him at A tier. I love Kawhi, and I respect Kawhi, but I think he's more on the Scottie Pippen level than AK. I mean, all those guys are eerily close. I just think I got to go with my best one at S tier and the rest at A tier. A tier is still really good, though. Keep that in the back of your minds. Dominique Wilkins, already ranked him. AI up next. I mean, look, am I supposed to sit up here in front of you guys and hype up AI? This card's a garbage, man. F tier. Even a guy in Derrick Rose, who I really don't like, is so much better than Allen Iverson. It's really not close. Ja Morant, underrated. I'm gonna say it because I believe it. Ja Morant is underrated. He's B tier. Even for me, I don't really run Ja Morant a ton just because he doesn't play defense. But offensively speaking, because of his hot spot at that top of the key, I mean, he's incredible offensively. I'll say it. And I don't even run the card that much on my No Money Spent Squad series. I really do like Ja in my team. Hidu Turkoglu up next. I mean, he's not great. I'll throw him at B tier because, I mean, he at least gives you something offensively, but I just wish his defense was a little bit better. He is 6'10", so not all is lost on the defensive end of the court. He's just not the Hidu of the past. Jaren Jackson Jr., we're going to go way up with you. A tier or S tier, you guys can be the judge for now. I'm going to throw him at S tier. I think he's better than Anthony Davis. Some people will argue that AD is better than him. I'm giving it to Jaren. Shoots the ball well, plays great defense, has a quick release. I really do like the card. Jason Williams, white chocolate, F tier. No, I'm not even going to sit there and talk about him. He's not very good. Jason Tatum is A tier. I mean, JT is absolutely incredible. I know people aren't going to hype him up because he is a 2K day card. He costs a lot, came out a while ago. But if you got Jason Tatum, I'm going to say it like this. You can still definitely run that card. He is really solid in my team. Jerry West, I mean, I'm going to throw him at F tier. I know he can shoot the ball, but that's about all he gives you on the court. Joe Dumars, I'm going to go B tier. Might come as a surprise to a lot of people to put it. I don't know, though. Feel like if I do that, I got to move Agent Zero up. I have to. I like where we're at right now. Move Joe Dumars to B tier, but I got to move Agent Zero up to A tier because he definitely is deserving of that. John Havlicek going to shoot the ball well, but can't really move. I'm going to go D tier with Hondo. You guys might disagree with me, but I think when you look at the full picture, that's where he belongs. Klay Thompson at this stage is C tier. I mean, look, I'm not super worried about Klay Thompson in 2K. In real life, Klay's got some things to figure out. Larry Marketing, I'm going to go C tier. I know he's 7 feet tall, but you can't just be 7 feet tall and expect the world. You've got to do something on my court. And I just don't know if Lowry does enough for me to be higher on the card. Magic Johnson, F tier at this stage. He stinks. Malcolm Brogdon is unusable. And I mean, you guys can say I'm being judgmental, but these cards are not good. I would tell you guys if these cards were good. These cards are straight up not good in my team. Manu Ginobili up next. He's fine. C tier, though. Not a great card. MPJ, I guess, is B tier. Again, not a card I love, though. His release is decent, but I think B tier is where he belongs. Nate Thurman, D tier, interior big, similar to Ben Wallace. Paolo Banchero, another card I don't love at this stage. I mean, I'm going to throw him at C tier. I just don't love these cards anymore. Pau Gasol, I guess C tier. I'm getting close to getting Pau Gasol. Problem is, I'm going to get him, and he's not even going to be used for me. How sad is that? Peja Stojakovic, thought he would be good when he came out. Card's not very good. I guess I'll throw him at C tier. Still long, lengthy, can knock down shots. Pistol Pete Maravich, I guess C tier because he's 6'5". The sad part about Pistol Pete is his release is not what it has been in the past, and people need to realize that before buying Pistol Pete Maravich. Rashard Lewis, I gotta be honest, I have him, never used him. Gonna go C tier because I really don't know. Rick Barry, at this stage, not good. I'm sorry, F tier. Sam Jones, you stink. You stink, you stink, you stink. And I know you got a duo, but you still stink. F tier. I'm going through these cards quickly because none of them are very good. Scotty Barnes, our first good card in a while. I'm going to put Scotty Barnes at A tier. Some people don't really respect Scotty Barnes, and I don't understand why. For me, I'm playing the Scotty Barnes-Pascal Siakam duo, and I like it as far as I'm concerned right now. Sean Livingston's really solid. I think he's deserving of B tier. Not quite A tier. B tier is where he belongs. Long, lengthy, can knock down shots, good mid-range. Plays good defense, deserving of that B tier in my opinion. Sean Bradley, I guess up there at C tier. Long, lengthy, I guess he's gonna play be cheesy offensively. Just don't love the card in general. Steve Smith, I've used him for a while. I respect Steve Smith a ton. Do I think he's B tier or C tier? I think he's more on the level of C tier. As crazy as that sounds, I think that's, you know, where he does belong. Googs, you stink. F tier. Not gonna hype up a garbage man. Trae Young might come as a surprise to a lot of people. Actually is B tier. Look, maybe I'm just gassing the card, but I've used him a little bit and I've had some success with Trae Young. That Trae leaner is super fun to use if nothing else. Tyler Hero, haven't used the card. I don't really like the card. I'm going to throw him at C tier right there with Pistol Pete Maravich. That's going to wrap it up. Only 3 guys at S tier. A tier is pretty select as well. B tier I would say is good. Anybody C tier or lower are just cards that I think at this stage of my team are mid. Now again, these are the top AMEs in the game. So to be B tier above, you got to be super good in my team. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.